Hi everybody, I'm Keith Warren and welcome to Hunting and Outdoor Adventures. This week we'll be hunting with fellas named Rusty and Lucky and Frosty and Turbo. No, they're not American gladiators, they're hound dogs, and they'll be chasing down black bears for us in the mountains of eastern Arizona. Stick around.
When Colorado Buck of Rocky Top Outfitters called me and asked if I wanted to go hunting for black bears in Arizona, I thought, Arizona? There's nothing there but sand and cactus. Turns out I was wrong.
When you come out here bear hunting, you just don't get your bear and go. There's just so much else to do and see. Just being here is worth a lot.
And to prove his point, on my first day in Arizona, Colorado Buck took me fishing. With a threat of rain in the air, we stopped at a little honey hole at the end of a mountain stream to catch ourselves some rainbow trout for dinner.
Don't shoot, mister. I'll marry the whole family. There he is. I seen the hit.
Buck,
right
you
there.
know what?
I seen the hit there.
He's on here
right
now.
there.
He's on there now. Look at here.
Hey, that's a nice fish. Come on in, son.
Come on, Buck. Get down here with me. Ooh, look at the colors on this one. Yes, sir. Oh, yeah.
There he is.
Oh, beautiful. I'm telling you, folks, this right here, for any business executive working 50, 60, 70 hours a week, if you like hunting, you need to come on a trip with Colorado Buck. I'm telling you, folks, this is absolutely unbelievable. The country, the scenery is breathtaking. The excitement of hunting bears with dogs is unparalleled. You will never do anything in your life that's that exciting. And look at this, catching rainbow trout just about every cast. Where's that stringer?
Right here, Rod. He's on the way.
We're gonna need to
good
get
eaters, ain't they?
Oh yeah, we're gonna need to get 4 or 5 of these and we'll be in good shape.
That's good eating right there.
There you go. Well, I've turkey hunted with you before and I've been looking forward to this bear hunt for a long time. Tell me what I can expect.
Well, we're gonna cover a lot of this lower country, this Mesa, Rolling Hills country. We're gonna get the dogs out. We're gonna saddle up some horses. We're gonna ride to some areas we've located some bears in, and see if we can pick out one that we feel like is pretty good and get on it.
Well, tell me about the dogs we're going to be using.
You just don't go down to the pound and win a 6-pack of bear dogs. You know, it just don't work. You got breeding, you know, old-time line breeding, some of the Lee brother dogs that we're hunting. As far back as, you know, maybe even Ben Lilly stuff. It's the same line of dogs. We're actually hunting the same country that they hunted in. So it's been going on here for well over 100 years.
Do you think it's a humane way to hunt bears with dogs?
There's a lot of reasons why hunting with dogs is ethical. First of all, a guy that has dogs, he's seen more than one bear. And if he's catching bears, he's been doing it for a long time. So if you get to a tree, and you don't always tree them, but if you can get to a tree, the guide, he can tell you, is that a big bear, a little bear, something that is, you know, a real trophy. Generally, if it's the south, it's wet, lactating. If you're underneath the bear, you can tell. Okay, if you're up in a tree or across a hill, you can't tell. You can't see underneath that animal. All right, you're not wounding something that's going to get away. You don't got no wound loss with the dog. You got a controlled situation where you can decide whether this is a good animal to take or not. It's just, in my opinion, there's no doubt that it is the most ethical way of hunting bear. What Rocky Top does is offer everybody in every financial situation in every part of the country an opportunity to come out and hunt. It doesn't matter what you want to hunt, how much experience you've had. If you want to come out west and go hunt, no matter what it's deer, elk, bear, antelope, sheep, goat, moose, we can take you on that hunt. We've got something that we can arrange with you at every different level to go on hunt.
We'll meet Rocky Top Outfitters bear hunting specialist Brim Hamlin when Hunting and Outdoor Adventures continues. Colorado Bucks man in eastern Arizona is Wren Hamlin. Wren grew up in these mountains and learned to hunt bears and mountain lions the old-fashioned way.
I do all of the bear and lion hunting for Rocky Top Outfitters. I grew up in this country from the time I was a kid. I've known the old timers. I learned how to hunt from the old timers. And the way we're hunting bears now is the way that the old people used to hunt them years and years ago. We got the type of dogs that will strike up their own tracks on hard, dry, dusty ground without any help. You have to learn to read the sign in order to be able to, to catch up with them. You can follow a flip drop trail, a feed trail. There's a lot of different methods of being able to find and, come up with the, with the direction and stuff when you can't actually see a track. Most of the time you won't see a plain track, so you have to learn to look at the different things. You might just see part of a pad. You may see a little bit of a claw where he's digging in going up the bank, or a heel pad, something that the average person would never see. So you have to stop and investigate a little closer in order to come up with just the makings of a possible race. A lot of times the bear will make a big circle feeding, and he'll go up the hill and back down, across his track, back and forth, around and around. And a lot of times you can start on a good track and end up going backwards on one without anybody doing really anything wrong. It just is the feed pattern of a bear when they're feeding in this type of country. With Rocky Top Outfitters, we have what we figure is one of the best packs of dogs going in this part of the country right now. And we feel like we could take these dogs any place from old Mexico to Canada and catch game with anybody's dogs. We've raised and bred the same type of dogs for a long time to be able to stay with the animal, because once they start quitting on you and one dog quits and then another dog quits, the first thing you know, you have a whole pack of dogs that are quitters, and that doesn't work with this team. Everybody has to go to the woods as a team in order to make this work. You have to have good horses that are mountain wise. You have to have dogs that mind. That's above all. My job is if they're running off game, I'll be there to correct them when it's all over with, and they might not like me very good for a few minutes, but if they run something, I don't care if it's all night or I have to come back to them the next day. I will be there when it all ends, and that builds a bond that is irreplaceable with your dogs. These dogs are extremely special to me. Every time I go someplace where I've been before, and I think of one of the older dogs, particularly the ones that aren't with us anymore, you have a lot of feeling, a lot of respect for those dogs. I've seen dogs slapped off of cliffs. I've seen dogs killed on the ground. One instance in particular last year, Danny, a friend of mine that hunts with me a lot, had a bear wounded on the ground and went off a steep hillside, and his feet went out from under him and he slipped, and well, the bear slapped the dogs off and came after him. The one dog jumped right in the middle of him, and the bear grabbed him and bit him through the chest and killed him. I mean, even though we were successful in getting our client the bear, it still took all of the heart and soul out of it for us, because we had to dig a grave and leave one of our friends in the mountains.
A full moon greeted us on the first morning of our Arizona bear hunt. We'll take to the mountains to watch Wren and his dogs work on the trail of a black bear right after this. The strike dog's job is to pick up the scent of any bear that's passed through the area you're hunting in. That first morning, Rusty, one of the strike dogs, sang out that he smelled a bear. But before he and the rest of the dogs are set out, Colorado Buck, Wren Hamlin, and I looked for signs so we could get an indication which direction the bear was headed.
There are several different ways when we're hunting bear to find sign. For one, there's the big stumps. There's a lot of the big stumps that have been logged, or a tree that's been knocked down. In the summertime and early in the season, there's not much feed for bears, so they have to grub for everything they get. Ants, yellow jackets, hornets. They consume an awesome amount of calories in order to keep a bear in any kind of shape at all. The other thing they do is there's a lot of big sugar pine trees. They'll reach as high as they can. They'll peel the bark down. There's some tender stuff underneath the bark there that they like. And there's places where you can sit and see as many as 10 or 15 trees in one spot.
We searched for quite a while, but we couldn't come up with a good direction. And we sure didn't want to wear out the dogs by sending them to where the bear had been and not to where he was going.
What now, boss?
Move on, I guess.
After a while, it had become too late in the day to run dogs, but the next morning, we came across a fresh track. We could tell it was fresh because all the dogs started singing this time. It was music to my ears. The time had come to see the pack in action.
We're gonna have to start them this way.
We're going to just walk them all right there and then turn one of them loose. You want to turn one of them loose?
Let me climb the hill. Therefore, I can kind of call them to you. Let me get up there where I can kind of call the dogs then.
Hold him. Hang on, don't turn him loose yet.
Here we go, here we go, right here, quick. Here we go, right here. Here we go, right here.
Hang on.
We go right here first. We go. We go right here.
Turn him loose.
First son dog, we go right here, bud. When those dogs are running, a lot of times to start with, especially when they're a little fresh, there's a lot of excess blabbering and bawling and stuff. So you listen for your old dogs, the ones that you know have the experience. You can tell the minute one of those old dogs hits something good. The other dogs will in turn honor him, and it takes a long time for them all to settle down sometimes on a really hard track. When you see when those old dogs and their old tail pretty soon kind of starts turning like a helicopter and just and really working, that dog is smelling something good. You know, they're always wagging their tail, but when that old tail starts ringing, you can tell that they're fixing to, you know, to open up on something good. This bear's going down.
I think what they did was overrun it there. You know, they was really just, you know, making all they could of it. And they've kind of quieted down right now. What I think's happened is they overrun it. There's hear him picking back up now. So somebody just circle back, pick it up. They're all bunched up now, so this old bear's probably in trouble.
We'll see what kind of trouble we can get into as the bear hunt continues. Stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss this.
They're looking at him.
They're looking at bear right now.
Oh, yeah.
The bear's on the ground.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Fight's on. Most of the time when them dogs are barking real hard, that bear's starting to move on them. And they get real quiet. So when he turns around, you know, and puts the, you know, kind of puts the fear into him just a little bit, you know, and kind of backs him off, and then he'll turn and the dogs will put the charge on. That's what reason for the hearing the on again, off again noise after they've got a bear jump like that. There's little Sadie.
They're not moving far, are they?
That old bear's just sitting down. He's bait. They got him bait up on the ground. May have to get a couple of these guys that are real fast runners, go up there and put the fear of God into him.
Throw the full Nelson on him.
Old Jimmy get up there and saddle that sucker and ride him off the hill. He's running. He's fixing.
He's had enough.
He's fixing the tree.
I can't.
Come on, guys. Okay. We're gonna have to be quiet. I think he's on the ground up there.
Either that or he's just treed real low. He's not very high in the tree.
He's treed real low, or he's on the ground.
Well, we still got the wind. We're just going to watch the wind and sneak up and we have to be quiet.
Okay,
we have to be quiet.
The wind's kind of drifting on us a little bit, so we have to be really quiet. Okay? You got your gun ready? Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to go up. We'll just cut this way. The wind, we got to keep the wind to us.
Yeah, right.
Okay?
Okay. I want you to stay right with Buck. Stay right with him, okay? damn.
Sure.
Sounds like he's trying to come back. He's not shooting very hard. Get up there, get up there. Ha! Get up there! Get up there!
Get him, big dog! Turbo, where is he, Turbo? Turbo, go to him, boy!
Get him, Turbo! Get him, Turbo!
That is a boar for sure, but I'll tell you, I just assume pass on this one if it's okay. I mean, that's one neat thing about hunting this way because it's selective.
Well, we have the opportunity. We know the bear's a boar. He's a young boar. We've had a super good hunt this morning. We had a super good hunt yesterday. We've got a lot more bear in the area. There's nothing, as far as we're concerned, wrong with turning them loose and hunting for them.
Okay, well, good.
That's what we're out here for.
Yeah, that's right. See, I mean, we got an opportunity right
Yeah.
now, okay? We got a controlled situation. That's what we got. We got it because of the dog. Now we look at this bear. We know there's bigger bears out here. We got a great bunch of dogs. Ben's got a bunch of bear located.
Let's pull the dogs off and let this one go.
I think you're going to be happier.
Good deal. Good deal. Let's go ahead and get the
So what do
dog.
you think about the bear hunt?
I like it. I like it.
All right.
We never did get another bear. We just ran out of time. But what I came home with were the memories from an adventure that'll last me a lifetime.